Discipline requires a steely resolve to make it happen, to ride the wave of disappointment, delay, and self-doubt, and to remain focused despite. Now, those profound words are not mine. They're taken from page 25 of this book, written by the managing director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Dr. Marlene Forrest. And the title is On Leadership, Discipline. We also have Discretion and Daring, a powerful title. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
That sounds a little better. I know we have on the mask and the privilege to be here this morning to host the launch of this awe-inspiring book.
Can you turn up your volume a bit? We're not hearing you well.
Said on page 11 that it not only serves as an encouragement and a guide to talk about turning possibilities and, well, challenges rather, and limitations into possibilities and success. And I hope that at the end of this ceremony, all of us here and those of us watching online will be able to get our personal copy of this book to read the inspiring words of Dr. Forrest. And we have to absorb the words of wisdom based on her years of experience here at the Stock Exchange. Now, she told us that leaders don't only supposed to have knowledge of an
fresh many. Father, we see the clear path, undisturbed waters as the ducks travel clear. May everyone who celebrate with her too and read this book, may the path of their lives be open. And therefore, I bless Dr. Marlene Forrest with long life, satisfying life to fulfill her destiny in the Lord. Father, thank you for hearing us. Be with everyone. Bless the dessert that will be served, the food that will be served. Bring us safely, protect us through life, and may us enjoy this session and read this book and even share it with others. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Charlene. We'll now have the official welcome from Ms. Andrea Kelly, and she's the General Manager of the JCSD and JCSD Trustee Services.
Good morning, everyone. Master of Ceremony, Ms. Andrea Chisholm, Media Practitioner and Broadcaster, Dr. Marlene Forrest, Author, Managing Director, Jamaica Stock Exchange, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzel L. Douglas, Leader of the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party and former Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis from 1995 to 2015, the Honorable Stedman Fuller, Custos of Kingston, former Custos Marigold Harding, former Custos of St. Andrew, Dr. Winston Adams, guest speaker, Mr. Marlon Yard, Managing Director, the Barbados Stock Exchange, Ms. Eva Mitchell, Managing Director, the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, Mrs. Janet Morrison, Director, Jamaica Stock Exchange, Mr. Gregory Fisher, Managing Director and Head of Emerging Markets, Fixed Income at Jefferies, Dr. Isaac Newton, Communications Consultant, Professor Neville Ying, Chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Best Practices Committee and fellow author, Dr. Henry Morgan, the Director of Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, Ms. Charmaine Brim, Director of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, Ms. Denise Williams, Director of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, Mrs. Doreen Parsons-Smith, Manager of HR of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Ms. Charlene Steer, Marketing Officer, Jamaica Stock Exchange, other members of the JSC and the JCSD team, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This is an incredibly special day. It is a pleasure to welcome everyone here today to witness this momentous day. I found it so difficult to decide on what to say in my welcome this morning. It is indeed a very intimidating task. Everyone at the Jamaica Stock Exchange knows that it is a job of Dr. Marlene Forrest, and we look to bring the welcome at each function, and we all look forward to her eloquent and warm welcomes. Today, we are here to celebrate with her the launch of her book entitled On Leadership, Discipline, Discretion, and Daring. The title alone is sufficient to blow your mind. I can think of no one more fitting to write on this topic. In preparing for this speech, I said to myself, I need to do a research on leadership from different dictionaries to see what is the most common word or words that they use to describe a leader. I came up with two words, abilities and qualities. Anyone who knows Dr. Street Forrest knows that 100% this is what she represents. In truth, to have the discipline, discretion, and daring skills of a leader with humility describes Dr. Street Forrest's persona. This is captured on the pages of this book in the many speeches of Dr. Street Forrest over the years. As she so beautifully wrote on page 17, this book shows how leadership, not built on hype, but by daring actions, discretion, and discipline, can achieve immense benefits for a company. Let us just pause to appreciate the power behind these words. This is the essence of Dr. Street Forrest's leadership. She leads with humility, not hype. She is not afraid to challenge anyone. She is dedicated to her craft. She is a visionary. Her contribution to the Jamaica Stock Exchange, as evidenced throughout this book, will stand forever. She is constantly recognized by her peers for her stalwart contribution to the Jamaica Stock Exchange and by extension, Jamaica as a whole. Dr. Street Forrest, this book is for every girl who dares to dream of being a leader, every woman who was ever told that they can't, every leader who doubt themselves or who lack the confidence to be daring, to every woman out there, including myself, who wants to make a difference, but self-doubt is holding you back, I say, dare to be a Marlene Street Forrest. Dare to stand alone. Dare to make it known. Thank you for being here.
I really liked the last part of your presentation, Miss Kelly. Dare to be a Dr. Marlene Street Forrest and dare to make it. Quite interesting. It reminds me of an old song, a hymn from church actually, but we won't go there this morning. Now, when I looked at the program, I was amazed at the level of support and endorsements from persons all over the world. We have a prime minister, former prime ministers, and major private sector leaders all giving their congratulatory messages and endorsements. Now, we'll be hearing from some of those persons today. And we're going to begin with the managing director of Jeffries. I quoted from him earlier, Gregory Fisher, and he will be giving his message from Zoom. Good morning, Mr. Fisher.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well down there in Jamaica and safe and hunkered down. And Marlene, this is just an incredible kickoff and event. I can tell you that our decades of a relationship continue to grow, and I value dearly. What's incredible about the book is that if you look at Marlene's vision that she and I actually discussed, I'm thinking probably 20 years ago or 20 some odd years ago, about bringing and creating a stock exchange down in Jamaica. It was something that was a tall order. But, you know, you look at Marlene Street and the humility that she carries, and with that humility, never flinching at any task. It is no wonder why we look at today's world and see how far the Jamaica Stock Exchange has indeed come. It was only a couple of years ago that I remember watching CNBC and seeing Dr. Street ring the opening bell, which just brought tears to my eyes. The most impressive part about this book is the daring part, and that's part of the title. It's very difficult in today's business world to be daring and also carry that humility that I spoke of earlier. Usually those do not go hand in hand. And somehow Dr. Marlene Street was able to encompass her ongoing humility, be daring, and then add to that the strategic thinking. It is just amazing to see the growth that her vision has blossomed into over the years. Nobody would have guessed. I knew something big was going to happen because Marlene was involved, but I don't think anybody could have fathomed how far this ongoing vision, this vision that now really has taken on its own new life where there is no limit based on the standards and the bar that Marlene and her great team have set over the years. And I'm just proud to have a little part in that from the standpoint that to see the incredible growth of Jamaica Stock Exchange, the Junior Stock Exchange, the way that it's paved ways for really capital growth down there in Jamaica on a fast track that has taken what once was a country that when I first went down there in the early 90s, that was more viewed as certainly an emerging market and put in the classification of a third world country to now really the crown jewel of the Caribbean. And I think a big part of that crown jewel is in fact Marlene Street. I think that the international exposure that her strategic thinking has given Jamaica has only propelled the financial community as well as the country even farther. So with that, Marlene, I send you all my love, all my well wishes. I'm just glad I was able to be part of your tremendous and terrific journey. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Let's now hear from Marlon Yard, and he's the Managing Director of the Barbados Stock Exchange. Mr. Yard.
Good morning to all from in Jamaica, from Barbados, from the Barbados Stock Exchange. I count it a privilege to be able to speak here at the book launch of Marlene. And I found the title of her book very interesting and very thought-provoking. There are one or two things that come to mind. First, let me say that Marlene and I have been friends for over 18 years. I remember when I first joined the stock exchange here in Barbados. She was at the stock exchange in Jamaica. I think she was at the time the head of the JCSD, but then moved up to be the general manager and now the managing director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Marlene is one of these people over the years that I've been able to call upon very frequently and ask advice or guidance on various matters. And vice versa, we've counseled one another on various matters as it relates to stock exchange operations. But I must say, I think I've drawn on her more than she has drawn on me. And she's been very generous in her sharing of information and knowledge. We've done many sojourns together to say, for example, the UK, and I think we did one in the US as well. And she's someone who you can talk to and share with, and she's very generous in her advice and knowledge that she shares with you about developments in her market and how things can work in my market as well. I remember when the Jamaica Stock Exchange started doing the annual conferences, I made him a point to come to Jamaica every year and visit and be part of those conferences. With COVID, we've not been able to do so of late, but I look forward to being able to be back up probably next year if it is a full in-person conference. One of the qualities that I picked up from dealing with Marlene over the years is although she has and it was touted by Gregory, this whole question of humility, but the word that comes to me is her discretion in using the authority and power that she has in her position as managing director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And that discretion, sometimes people don't understand that even though you can do something, that doesn't mean you should do something. Even though you have the authority to do something, it doesn't necessarily make it that you have to use that authority. And Marlene is very good in exercising her discretion in financial matters, in people matters, in emotional capital. She's very good at seeing what the issues are and being able to point us and lead her organization in the right direction. And I think all of this comes from a heart of love. She's a very loving person. And, you know, sometimes it's hard for us as business leaders to say these things. And I remember a few months ago when she was not well, I said, Marlene, you know, I love you. And I meant it from my heart because I've known the woman for such a long time. I've seen her heart and I understand where she's coming from. And I could connect with who she is and what she is. And she is one of these persons that's always, as I said, we WhatsApp one another on a regular basis and communicate with each other on a regular basis when the time is required. Sometimes there might be a lull, but then when we connect, it's like it never stopped. So I want to congratulate Marlene on her accomplishment. As I sometimes say, when I grow up, I want to be just like Marlene. I really congratulate her. You've done well, and I'm proud of you, and I'm glad I can say to folks, whenever I talk to anybody, I know Marlene, she's the person at the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I know her personally. She's a friend of mine. Congratulations, Marlene, and all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yard. Let's get back to the location now, and we will be hearing from Mr. Cecil Foster, the Managing Director of Forrest Company Limited.
A friend of Marlene Street Forrest told me very recently that many things he is amazed by. Many things amaze him about what is wrong with Jamaica. However, Marlene Street Forrest amazed him what is right with Jamaica. And I said, that is telling, because he said to me that he knew her from they were in St. Mary. And he saw the discipline, the dedication, the commitment, the unwavering tenacity for excellence. And so this, what is happening to her today, is just an outworking of the great woman she has been. And so I will ask you to give her an applause, because somebody thinks that she is what is right with Jamaica. I can't remember having a serious conversation with Marlene, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, without certain words being used. Discipline and focus. And I tell you, I would go home and I would say to my wife, you know, I had a talk today with a giant, and the first name she would come up with is Marlene Street Forrest. Because I would repeat some of the conversations that we have on the phone or we have in person, and I would always refer to her as the giant. I didn't say little giant, okay? I said giant, because if I say little giant, then the person who I'm speaking to at home would think that is she I'm talking to, because I think they are the same height. No, it is a fantastic day today. Personally, this day has come a little bit too late, but it is here, and we celebrate with you. We from the Forrest team are what we are today because of the salesperson in Marlene Street Forrest. She never stopped selling the idea of going public to Forrest. And when it was not enough, she sat in my boardroom and she outlined how it could work. And I'm telling you, if some of these principles should be accepted by us in Jamaica, this country would be miles ahead of what it is today. I am the better for knowing you and to relate to you. And I just want to say congratulations. You are an example, you are a mentor, and you are a lady of great discipline and focus. And today, we celebrate with you, Dr. Street Forrest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Foster. You know, I like ceremonies like these. It's good when we're able to talk to people face to face, to tell them what we think about them, to give them their dues while they're still here, don't you think? Yes, and I really do hope that even as we listen today, and I really hope that we go ahead and read the book, because even reading sections of it, I've not been able to finish all 186 pages as yet, but I have read some sections, and I can tell you, it provides insight for us to not only live our daily lives, but for those of us at the leadership level, how we can become more of servant leaders to get what it is that we have to get done. Now, we are running on time, and that is good. We're approaching the bell ringing ceremony. And my watch says 9:29, so that means we have a few seconds. So Dr. Forrest, today's your day. I'm going to ask you to come forward to ring the bell, and you can select who you want to come with you. It's your choice. You want everybody to come? I'm not sure everybody will be able to hold in the frame. But you can come here. Neville, I'm going to get in trouble, because I don't know who to call on to tell to come to ring the bell with her. We have a volunteer. This is wonderful. Hello. Hi. You're coming as well? Okay, go ahead. Could you just come to the front here, please? Oh, this is your nephew? I hear him saying auntie. I don't know if it's biological or not, but either way, it's good. All right. Leo? Who is Leo? Are you calling Leo Dr. Forrest? Mr. Deans. You're being called upon. Okay, let's go after 3. Okay, we were having a prelude to the bell ringing. That's fine. Okay, let's go after 3. 1, 2, 3. Please clap. No, Dr. Forrest, that was a little too short. Let's try again for about 10 seconds. After 2, 1, 2. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I like that we were on time today to do the bell ringing. Let's continue with our congratulatory messages. We should be going over to Trinidad and Tobago now to hear from Ms. Eva Mitchell, and she is the Managing Director of the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange.
Hello, good morning, Jamaica from Trinidad, good morning, the wider region, good morning, globally. So, I mean, this is such an honor to be here, all protocols observed. It is an honor to be asked to offer remarks on this special occasion. As a female leader of a financial institution, particularly another stock exchange as Marlene is, I feel a sense of connection to the work that Dr. Street Forrest has done. The many strides she has made in her career has been point of pride, not just for me, but for women locally in her country, regionally, and internationally, but especially for those in the financial services sector. On an occasion such as this, one might look at the career of Dr. Street Forrest and regard her as fortunate or lucky. Female captains of the industry, however, will tell you that they've had to work so much harder and that they've had to work so much smarter than our female counterparts and our female colleagues to rise to the ranks as Dr. Street Forrest did. Dr. Street Forrest and her truly stellar career is no exception. Her success, however, given the passion with which she approaches all things, is no surprise. I recall seeing her mentioned very recently on a television program that as a young child, her mother would instill in her the value of hard work by using a charming rhyme. Luck is plucked by doing the same things over and over. Courage and will, perseverance and skill are the four leaves of luck's clover. What's best about her for me, in my opinion, is her daring actions towards advocacy of gender equality and her calls for greater mentorship, both young and old, and support amongst women in business. With this book, which focuses on sharing the learnings and tools that she has amassed in her many years in leadership, she has now provided me and all of us with an opportunity to reflect on our own leadership styles and what it truly means to be a leader. Furthermore, sharing of knowledge by a female regional boss or leader provides other fellow female regional leaders a point of reference and greater perspective on what female leadership can look like from her unique perspective. Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, my sincerest congratulations on the launch of On Leadership, Discipline, Discretion, and Daring. Thank you for being a beacon of excellence within the region. And I wish you continued success. And as I close, I quote from your book, "Where there's a challenge, there is a way." And you have blazed that way, as we say in Trinidad. And I wish you continued success. And I hope our friendship will continue even after. Keep going. And thank you so much. Congratulations today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mitchell from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Now we're going to take a pause to turn to something that I'm sure most of us enjoy, some music. So we'll be hearing from the saxophonist, Daniel Jackson. Did you recognize that song? What's the name of the song? Yeah, by Yolanda Adams. Never to give in, even against all odds. And I'm sure that's one of the mantras of Dr. Street Forrest as we launch her book today on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring. We're going to continue with the congratulatory messages, and this time we'll be hearing from Professor Neville Ying, and he's the chairman, Best Practices Committee, and a fellow author.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Can you hear me very well? Hello?
We're going to Dr.
Andrea,
Ying
can
on
you hear me?
Zoom.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you now, Dr. Ying. Morning,
Okay.
Professor.
Good morning again, Andrea. It is with great pleasure that I offer congratulations to Dr. Marlene Street Forrest on the occasion of the launch of her new book on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring. Transformational leadership has some key features. I'll mention 3 of these. The first is visioning, having a clear mental picture of the future. The second is strategic thinking, applying creativity and innovation to come up with strategies for future scenarios. And the third is risk-taking, coming out of your comfort zone and taking deliberate decisions in a scenario of an unpredictable and uncertain future. I can say, based on evidence, that Dr. Marlene Street Forrest has demonstrated all 3 of these features of transformational leadership. So what is my evidence? First, I've worked closely with Marlene on very important transformational initiatives at the Jamaica Stock Exchange, for which she was the chief conceptualizer. I'll mention 2 of these. One, the Best Practices Awards for listed companies in the main and junior market. Secondly, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Marlene took a big risk by asking me to chair both entities, thereby giving me the unique privilege of sharing a satisfying and productive professional relationship which lasted some 19+ years, including Marlene allowing me from time to time to be her mentor. My second source of evidence was gathered by my students in my transformational leadership program at UWI. That year, I was focusing on outstanding women in leadership in the private sector. So I gave my class the assignment to do a research study on Marlene to determine, based on important criteria, if she was in fact a transformational leader. Based on that objective assessment, she was declared an outstanding transformational leader. I was there with her when the Jamaica Stock Exchange, under her leadership, achieved the important status of being the #1 stock exchange in the world twice. And this, I must say, is very highly correlated to one of our transformational initiatives, which is the Best Practices Awards. I also had the privilege of hearing all the speeches that she has used to bring alive the elements of the title of the book, Leadership, Discipline, Discretion, and Daring. Marlene, I welcome you to the club of esteemed authors who have dared to write on this critically important area of leadership. I encourage members of the targeted audience, experienced and emerging leaders, to purchase your individual copies, read and reflect on the leadership lessons that Marlene has very carefully and passionately documented in this book. Congratulations, Marlene.
Thank you, Professor Ying. We're continuing with the messages, and this time it's going to be from Dr. Isaac Newton, a powerful name. Dr. Isaac Newton, a communications consultant.
Good day to all. Thank you so very kindly for being invited to give a few remarks. It is indeed a delight to all, and I want to observe all the protocols. Let me say that I first encountered Dr. My leadership profile assignment for the United Nations in Jamaica. I was posted in Jamaica. I happened to have met her live and direct via her husband, with whom I had developed a healthy and wholesome relationship several years ago while we both attended Oakwood College. And Franklin is just a person of tremendous self-esteem, passionate young man, like to take risks, like to explore. And I was not at all surprised that he found himself an awesome helpmeet in the form of his wife, Dr. Marlene. I have grown to love and appreciate Dr. Marlene, and I fondly call her Dr. Mal. I must say that one of the things that I have incredible heart full of compassion and sincerity. She has extended that heart to me professionally and personally. In fact, I have had the honor and the opportunity to present several times at the Jamaica Stock Exchange conferences over the years, and more importantly, to have expanded my own professional network in this context, as well as I have had the laudable opportunity to interact with high-profile leaders who are associated and a part of the Jamaica Exchange via providing professional seminars and mentorship. Above all, I must say that what I really love about this book is the fact that it is in fact a recorded legacy. It's a summary of Marlene's journey from the moment she arrived at the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the ability that she expressed in expanding her influence and being intentional about a life through over the years. Intelligent, innovative, charming, powerful, impactful leader is all about. One, her ability to rally, cement, drives superlative results. And for me, as I read the book, and I was able to see more than speeches. Marlene is leaving behind compassion, of care, of competence. Above all, for me, be honest, to put in your tank godly wisdom, a sense of right and wrong, to look out always for the best in your team, to always look out for best outcomes and results for your company, and above all, to be to yourself. I want to thank Dr. Marlene for having left some legacy for my son, other younger people, to legacy of superlative result, and finally, it's a legacy that is grounded and rooted in her own personal values of loving God, of loving others, and as being a powerful influence, salt and light to those with whom she has encountered. Very pleased to have Jill Douglas to her several years ago, and he came and spoke the at the Jamaica Stock Exchange to the Eastern Caribbean, and leveraging her incredible ability in across the Eastern Caribbean to help development of that region. Congratulations 1,000 times, Dr. Marlene, and like a mighty gush of water burst into a dam, you have left a legacy of empowerment for all of us. God bless you, and may your circle of influence continue to beyond this moment of this book launch. Let me just put something quickly and say that Marlene is also passionate about writing young people. She one of the things that have inspired her is and all grandchildren, and she's writing another series of books for young people, and I have been a part of that. Teacher Kitchener has been a part of that, and we are excited that more wisdom, in terms of documented wisdom, is just jumping out of her system. And as she leaves behind this legacy, she will continue to expand it so that it impacts and influences so many of us across multiple generations. Proud of you, Marlene. I do love and appreciate you. Thanks for being my balm in Gilead, my blessed assurance through the terrible encounters that I have had in my life, as well as the spectacular, beautiful experiences of joy that I have experienced. Thank you. God bless you. Congratulations. Continue moving forward.
Thank you, Dr. Newton. We're returning here at the ceremony to Doreen Parsons-Smith, the Manager of Human Resources here at the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, special invited guests, visitors to the exchange, my colleagues, a pleasant good morning to you all. It is with great pleasure, a sense of true joy and profound gratitude that I stand here this morning, sharing in this august occasion with Dr. Street Forrest, Boss Lady, as she's sometimes referred to, on the launch of her book on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring, a book which truly epitomizes her indomitable spirit, a visionary, a leader par excellence, who is daring and one who exercises discipline and discretion in achieving her goals. As you indicated, Dr. Forrest, your journey within the financial sector started in 2000. That is the year when we both joined the JSE. And ladies and gentlemen, if you could oblige me a little, I'll share a short story. Whenever candidates visit the exchange to be interviewed, I usually observe them from the window of the boardroom. When this lady visited the exchange to be interviewed, I watched her as she stepped out of her car, and at that time someone was passing. I noticed she greeted the person. She then stopped by the security's office and greeted the officer with a very pleasant smile. What really hit me though was the pleasing and dignified demeanor she displayed. Of course, being the person that I am, I went to the then general manager, Wayne Knighton, and said, "Sir, your deputy general manager is on her way up. The rest is history. Doc, Boss Lady, you came, you saw, and yes, you conquered. Thank you. As you literally rolled up your sleeves and hit the ground running. You transitioned from Deputy General Manager to General Manager and then to Managing Director. I must state, I had the pleasure of being your admin assistant for 7 of the most productive years at the JSC. Thank you. Under your astute leadership, you challenged your team to be the best we could be. We saw the exchange being positioned as the premier exchange in the region and the #1 in the world. Wow! No wonder you were referred to as the badass lady by Jean Laurie Chin in one of her articles in the Jamaica Observer. You're not easily daunted. You are the Portlander who stepped into the ring of a man's world and expanded the JSC beyond expectations. You gave Bloomberg the recipe of the special sauce that positioned a third world exchange to #1 in the world, not once, but twice. This book on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring is a must-read for all team members, persons within the financial sector, educational institutions, aspiring leaders, and the wider society as a whole. Congratulations to you, Doc. Boss Lady, Dr. Marlene Jennifer Street Forrest, on the successful launch of your book, marking another milestone of your achievements. You continue to make us proud. Your team, exceptionally proud. God bless you.
Thank you, Mrs. Parsons Smith. I heard her talking and I started chuckling to myself. I remember the first time I met Dr. Street Forrest. She won't remember this. It was very 2 or so years in my profession as a journalist, and I came to the office quite nervous because I'm interviewing Mrs. Street Forrest. So yes, I was nervous, and I said to the cameraman, oh my gosh, I don't know how this is going to go, but let's see what happens. First of all, what I liked was the fact that she did not make me wait. She was very, very much on time, and I appreciated that. And then I started talking to her, and I said, wow, she's pretty extraordinary, but still normal. Yeah, and the nervousness went, and we had a good talk. And I liked the fact that she made the complicated oh so simple, and so my life was a little easier in completing my task. Now, Dr. Street Forrest, we heard about her already, the boss lady. She's a phenomenal woman, not only an impactful leader, not only an accomplished individual, not only the recipient of several accolades, not only someone who has spearheaded several initiatives that one would say speak for themselves. She is an inspiration to all, blazing a trail of excellence internationally in the securities markets and the financial services industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Dr. Street Forrest, the boss lady.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Please allow me to thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. I know that time is valuable, and for you to have taken your time, whether in person or over the internet, that it means a lot to you as it does to me. Thank you all. Allow me to thank this morning my family, my colleagues, my friends, and my mentors who dared me to compile my first publication on leadership, discretion, and daring. Actually, I've even shocked myself that I'm here today to launch this book. So many events have culminated in the production and has propelled the publication of this book. And I will tell you in no exact order. When I was conferred with the honorary doctorate in public policy by the UCC, Dr. Adams, you are here today, my comment then was that I feel blessed. There are so many times that you do things, you go through your journey and there are struggles. But one of the things that is important is for you to see the blessings in it. And I said then that I feel blessed. It is not a recognition when I got it that I had taken lightly, and it sets off a course of introspection, one of which, as my good friend Dr. Isaac Newton said, which is you must pass this blessing along by writing. The introspection was also about recognizing and trying to see what is really my strongest qualities and how others could read from a collection of speeches of my journey and how they can take from my own experience inspiration towards their own career path. So this is why I actually went about compiling this book. It is a journey. The book will show that it is a journey about being a woman, a mother, a female in a male-dominated sector, and really a simple, shy individual whose major intention is to be effective. And yes, sometimes I get pleasure in proving the naysayers wrong. And as you can see, I've had the reviews from Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas, Mr. Don Webby, CEO of Grace Kennedy, Mr. Audley Shaw, Minister of Transportation and Works, Dr. Winston Adams, Group Executive Chairman, UCC Group, Dr. Isaac Newton, author and leadership advisor, Dr. Lincoln Edwards, President of NCU, Dr. Oswald Thomas, clinical psychotherapist, author and leadership coach, Mrs. Yvonne Nicholson, Director OUR. The reviews have really inspired me to continue in my journey and my pursuit to inspire others. I've also had such a splendid review from Mr. Foster, who was up here and he spoke about our relationship. Thank you, Cecil. The team who collaborated with me to get this book published, I say thanks. And these were young people, Miss Rochelle Simpson, Mr. Demar Brown, and Miss Shanae Warburton, and yes, Yvonne, you're always there, Mrs. Yvonne Nicholson. My sincere appreciation to Mr. Gregory Fisher, Managing Director, Head of EM Fixed Income Wealth Management Division, Jeffers, who wrote an impressive foreword. To the team members of the exchange, who spared their unpaid time to assist Neville, Michael, Angela, Evadne, and all the others, thank you. Deep thanks to those who have been supportive over the years. And I just want to, unscripted, say the team. It is so important that as a leader, you embrace the team and the team embraces you. If you do not get that recipe right, everything else fails. So it is important. The compilation of this book on leadership, discretion, discipline, and daring was intended to be a simple read and to allow readers to appreciate that our journey starts from a thought, which when acted on, and when you encourage others to dream with you, can result in transformation of self, company, country, and others. I will share just some examples with you today. Professor Ying spoke about Best Practices Award 2005. That was the inaugural Best Practices Award, and that is now a coveted award by many companies today. The journey began with my choosing the right person to chair the award, the leader of the pack, and daring to ask that person to serve. It wasn't easy, because at that point in time, I wondered, really, should I approach Dr. Ying? But I did. Through these awards, the intention was to lead people to improve governance. Leadership was displayed here through the competition, rather than looking at how you regulate, how you insist on persons doing the right thing. You found another way to approach the same subject to get the results that you want. The takeaway from the inaugural Best Practices speech was that awards of this nature went beyond the boundaries of ordinary. Successful leaders go beyond being ordinary to being just a little bit more extraordinary by finding the novel approaches to achieve the objectives. The discipline. The discipline is demonstrated through the painstaking preparation to host, as another example, a conference which we scarcely knew how to operate, but we had the grit, and you notice I say we. We had the grit and the tenacity to demonstrate that this could be done despite many well-established global investment conferences at the time. We bent backward for it to succeed. Even when at the beginning it seemed as if there were issues, but we went backward. My team and I were bold to think we could even name it the Regional Conference on Investment and Capital Markets. That was a bold title for the conference, but we did it. I said then, and it is in the book, we are here to engineer strategies that will foster growth and development in all our respective areas. Through our collective efforts, we can rise to the occasion by creating a financial environment that stimulates the region's development and increase its attractiveness overseas. The mission was clear for us, and we did it. Throughout the several other speeches, the reader can appreciate that with discipline, we have grown. By sticking to our objectives, the exchange has consistently brought together key participants of the financial services industry to create partnerships and improve understanding among financial services institutions to allow for the generation of investment opportunities. The chronology shows that each staging that though expanded, has not departed from the knitting. And I want to underscore that we have not departed from the key objectives, even if different things are done. Our original sponsor, Gregory Fisher, is still on board after probably 20-some years, which shows that we have not departed. And on discretion contemplates how, why, and when different leadership styles get used. Good leaders should not be afraid to embrace them all. As you leaf through the chapters of this book, the theme of governance and its importance is a constant, and you will appreciate that though many initiatives are contemplated and acted on in parallel, the sub-theme is constant and allows for cross-fertilization and multi-dimensional success. It is in discretion that you identify the different approaches to lead the teams to success by finding the balance. I will always talk about the junior market. And at the launch of the junior market in 2009, we worked at encouraging SMEs to access capital and grow, and that these will provide, the companies would provide disclosure to the market, again about governance. It is not surprising that this was the same theme when the corporate governance was launched that we spoke about, governance. Opportunities accompanied by disclosures, discrete activities, different approaches, but the underlying philosophy remains. Always be constant to that philosophy. Daring. The book gives a chronology of daring. Dare to adventure into the unknown territories by being the first, but supported by government, private sector, investors, and other partners. It really shows that in launching of the junior market, the bond market, the demutualization of the exchange, the listing of the on our own exchange, that it took courage, daring, and determination in the face of those who either thought the time was not right, the energy was misplaced, or the specific initiative would not be profitable. It is a daring that is driven by the will to succeed and the courage not to be daunted by obstacles, whether people or process, but a conviction that the effort is for the greater good. Always recognize what's the greater good. Woven through the books are examples of how successful an entity can be when leaders lead, when discretion is exercised, when discipline pays dividend, and provide a good return on investment. In closing, let me point out that this book is not intended to be the history of the exchange, but to pull the curtains back on what was done within the last 20 years or more. And when the history is written, as it must, I believe that hopefully the stories that you see in this book will align. This is from my vantage point, which I believe has simply demonstrated that where there is a will, there is a way. It is intended to encourage others to write, to commit their thoughts to paper, and be willing to share that thoughts with others. I hope to the readers it will convey and give meaning to a favorite quote which as children, my niece and nephew are here with me today. I think my sister is online. But as children, we were mandated to repeat, and which has found its way into my heart and this book. Thanks to my mother, and it goes like this. What we call luck is simply pluck and doing things over and over. Courage and will, perseverance and skill are the three leaves of luck's clover. Here embodies the daring, discipline, and discretion, three secret sources in successful leadership. Permit me to close, which is very important to me, as many have said, by thanking the Supreme Creator, whose knowledge passes all understanding. It is in Him we live, breathe, and have our being. Again, I give thanks to all who have shared in the journey. Gratitude is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Street Forrest. That poem that you quoted from your mom, When I saw it about what we call luck is really a pluck, I said to myself, I think I need to teach some of my younger cousins and stuff that point, because it really, really speaks to how important it is for children from an early age to have certain tenets, and it will in fact help them to become good leaders, to have the discipline to do smaller things, so that when they reach the level of the stock exchange, like where you are, they'll be able to impart such words of wisdom and be able to follow through, be daring about what it is that they are supposed to accomplish. Thank you very much, Dr. Street Forrest. Now we're going to be having the main presentation from Dr. Winston Adams, and he's the Group Executive Chairman of the UCC Group. He's the founder and executive chairman, as I said, of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean Group of Companies and its subsidiaries. Those include the Institute of Management Sciences, the UCC Academy, the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean Foundation, the UCC International Franchising, University Town and Global Campus, Global Knowledge Process Solutions, and a planned subsidiary of the partnership, the International Partnerships Division of UCC. Now, through his leadership, the then University College of the Caribbean successfully established major alliances with several reputable overseas institutions, including the Florida International University, Penn State University, University of Florida, Howard University, and the University of London. And through his leadership, they designed to strengthen and accelerate the process of human resource development in training in Jamaica. And by 2017, UCC became the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Winston Adams.
Thank you, Madam Masters of Ceremony. You know, there's not much more I can say. Actually, I think we have heard it all. But, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, here with us on location, and those online with us globally, good morning. And in the interest of time, all protocols observe. However, I must make special mention, I must single out one or two of my mentors who are here with us this morning. Of course, Marlene Street, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest is one of my mentors, as was evidenced with the honor we bestowed on her last year. But we also have other mentors here with us, like Dr. Henry Morgan, who has been a mentor for many, many, many years. Henry, good to see you. We also have Dr. Isaac Newton, who you heard from earlier online, and he's certainly one of my mentors and hopefully leadership coach. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to address you this morning at this most auspicious occasion, and we rang the bell earlier, for one of Jamaica's most accomplished and inspired leaders. The UCC Group has long recognized the exemplary attributes of the author of the book on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring, whom we celebrate here today, Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. She's in fact among a group of distinguished honorary graduates of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, our academic arm, having been conferred with an honorary doctoral degree in public policy in 2021, as I alluded to earlier. Dr. Marlene Street Forrest is undoubtedly an exemplary leader who has blazed a trail of first and extraordinary achievements for Jamaica in the complex and intricate world of stock exchanges. Under her stewardship, the Jamaica Stock Exchange became demutualized, and the US-denominated and junior markets were launched. She also spearheaded the Registrar Division of the Jamaica Central Depository when she served as General Manager for the subsidiary of the JSE. The JSE is now one of the largest stock exchanges in the Caribbean, both in size and market capitalization. It is also one of the most diverse exchanges in the region, encompassing sectors like banking and finance, retail, manufacturing, insurance, leisure, and communications. Through her inspired leadership, Dr. Marlene Forrest, and I'm so proud of that, has positioned the JSC in the conversation among much older exchanges, where leaders, including the London and New York stock exchanges. She has won the respect not only for herself, but serves as an inspiration for all women, blazing a trail of excellence. You know, I was asked to make a few remarks on great leaders are inspired, but I dare to say that great leaders are also audacious. After all, Marlene has epitomized that in her work and life, being audacious and bold. And so there's no question that she has invaluable lessons to impart and knowledge to share. Her first book, and I emphasize her first book, that there's more to come. I'm reliably informed that the manuscripts for others have begun already. So her first book on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring is indeed a perfect vehicle. Compiled in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, which compromised our physical health, this is a book of courage and leadership, which gives the reader an appreciation for the challenges overcome and victories celebrated on a journey of commitment, dedication, and as we often say in Jamaica, stick-to-itiveness. At the UCC, we're humbled to accept some small credit as an inspiration behind this compilation of Dr. Marlene Forrest's impactful speeches, as we have been reliably informed also that the conferment of the UCC doctoral degree was indeed one of the main catalysts for it. Recognizing as we did the value of her work, Dr. Forrest has further shared with us her wish through her speeches to help persons make the connection and, if possible, benefit from the process of getting the results achieved. Her hope is that this book could assist them in their own navigation through their journey to their desired destination. Ladies and gentlemen, the coronavirus, COVID-19, is no walk in the park. And unfortunately, Dr. Forrest was severely ill with the virus, but she pushed through. And thankfully, for us all, she is fully recovered, and we have a book that clearly illustrates the value of staying the course, whatever the challenges. And as I just indicated, Marlene did have her own set of challenges when she got ill. So I asked her, what gave you the courage to push through? I was struck by her response. and I quote, "The courage was lit through Christ and the people around who buoyed her up," unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, it is true that inspiration comes in many ways, many forms, and has many faces. Some leaders become great because of how they persevere with a dream in spite of their circumstances and go on to achieve such exemplary and extraordinary things. Inspired leaders, and indeed audacious leaders like Marlene, faced with roadblocks, stick by their values, innovate, empower and influence others to act in meaningful ways to effect changes. Through the lenses of Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, we have been brought to an understanding and appreciation of the rudiments of the stock exchange and its immense value to a developing nation like Jamaica. We proudly celebrate her as an inspired leader in Jamaica and the Caribbean region, and commend the book, her first book, more to come, on leadership, discipline, discretion, and daring, and might add, audaciousness, as recommended reading for all on their own personal journey to high achievement, as well as those who have achieved at their desired, or arrived, rather, at their desired destination. As I indicated in the review I made in the book, this engaging book is Marlene's secret sauce for making the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and certainly by extension, our beloved country, Jamaica, an unforgettable brand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adams. And now we're at the end of our ceremony. All good things must come to an end. Please note that you can buy the book online on Amazon. It's available, I checked. And you may also get your special autographed copy, perhaps with a message from Dr. Street Forrest as soon as we're finished here. The cost is $30 US or 4,650 Jamaican dollars. Now, as we leave here today as leaders, and if you're an aspiring leader rather, please remember that we need to have the discipline to get things done. We also need to know as leaders when to use which leadership style, to utilize our discretion, and then we have to be daring, be bold in accomplishing the vision that we had set out to achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day.